if I told you that the woman serving coffee in your boardroom meetings could actually be worth billions? That the secretary you've been ordering around for 7 years just bought your entire company? Well, buckle up because this story is about to blow your mind. Picture this. You're sitting in a fancy conference room, mahogany walls everywhere, feeling pretty important in your expensive suit. You're the CEO, your daughter's the VP, and life is good. Then you turn to your secretary and say, "Hey, go fetch us some coffee and make it the good stuff." Seems normal, right? Because what you don't know is that this secretary has been playing the longest game of corporate chess you've ever seen. And checkmate? Well, that's coming in about 5 minutes. Let me paint you the full picture here. We've got Richard Sterling, the CEO who thinks he's hot stuff. His daughter Victoria, who got her VP position through daddy's connections, not talent. And James, the CFO, who's about as sharp as a bowling ball. These three have been running their tech company like their personal playground for years. And then there's Margaret, sweet, quiet Margaret, who's been bringing them coffee and taking notes for 7 long years. She drives a beat-up Honda, lives in a modest apartment, and shops at discount stores. To them, she's basically furniture with legs. But here's where it gets juicy. While these corporate hotshots were busy patting themselves on the back, Margaret was building something extraordinary, something they never saw coming, because, well, they never really saw her at all. 7 years ago, Margaret had submitted a brilliant business proposal. We're talking next-level artificial intelligence stuff that could revolutionize corporate management. But James took one look at her job title, laughed and rejected it outright. Said she lacked vision for corporate leadership. Ouch, right? But Margaret didn't cry into her pillow. Nope, she took that rejection and turned it into fuel. Pure, concentrated revenge fuel. While they were making jokes about her department store clothes, she was secretly building a tech empire called Phoenix Ventures. While they were dismissing her lunch break activities as some cute investment club, she was funding innovative startups and acquiring companies left and right. And the best part? She was documenting everything. Every inappropriate comment, every shady financial deal, every moment of discrimination. For 7 years, she was invisible to them, which meant they said and did things they never would have if they'd seen her as a threat. Now, fast forward to this particular morning, the boardroom meeting from hell. Richard's going on about some mysterious buyer who's been purchasing their company shares through shell companies. Victoria's making snide comments about Margaret's coffee-making skills. James is theorizing about foreign investors while bragging about playing golf with tech billionaires. And Margaret? She's sitting there, typing away, knowing that her phone is about to buzz with the most satisfying message of her life. Final share purchase complete. You now own 51% of the company. Can you imagine? 7 years of being treated like she doesn't exist, and now she literally owns their entire world. But Margaret's not done yet. Oh no, she's about to serve up the coldest dish of revenge you've ever seen. Richard announces that the Phoenix Ventures representative should be arriving any minute for a meeting. He tells Margaret to show them in, and try not to embarrass us this time. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Margaret stands up, smooth as silk, and drops the bombshell. Before your meeting begins, there's something you should know about Phoenix Ventures. Victoria, being her usual charming self, interrupts with some condescending comment about adults trying to have a business discussion. That's when Margaret pulls out her phone and completely destroys their world. The main screen lights up with Phoenix Ventures' portfolio. Dozens of successful companies, billions in assets, and right there in the center, their own company's stock ownership chart, showing Phoenix Ventures' controlling interest. The silence in that room must have been deafening. Margaret calmly takes her seat at the head of the table, Richard's former spot, and delivers the line that probably echoes in their nightmares. After all, as the majority shareholder, I have some concerns about current management. Victoria's coffee cup hits the floor. James turns white as a sheet. And Richard? Poor Richard can barely whisper. This is some kind of joke. But Margaret's just getting started. She pulls up that same business proposal from 5 years ago, the one James rejected. Turns out that, lacking vision, Idea now powers half of Phoenix Ventures' subsidiary companies and is worth billions. Then comes the evidence dump. 7 years of documentation proving financial mismanagement, insider trading, and systematic discrimination. Every casual conversation, every carelessly discarded document, every overheard phone call had been another piece in her puzzle. The beauty of it all? She didn't have to spy or sneak around. She was just invisible to them, which meant they never bothered to hide their corruption from someone they saw as beneath them. Victoria tries to play the daddy, do something card. But daddy's too busy having an existential crisis. James threatens to call their lawyers. But surprise, Margaret's legal team is already walking through the door, including James's own brother-in-law, who's been secretly working with her. The SEC investigation? Already in motion. The criminal charges? Being prepared as they speak. Within hours, the story explodes across financial news. Mystery CEO reveals identity in stunning corporate takeover. From secretary to tech mogul. Summit Technologies leadership ousted amid scandal. Margaret's phone starts buzzing with messages from people who'd overlooked her for years. The same people who'd treated her like she was invisible are now desperately trying to get back in her good graces. But the real kicker? Her parents show up, completely stunned. They'd spent years being embarrassed by their daughter's modest office job, constantly asking when she was going to find a real career or settle down with a nice man. Turns out their disappointing daughter had built a billion-dollar empire while they were busy giving her life advice. The aftermath is pure satisfaction. Richard, Victoria, and James are escorted out by security with their personal belongings in cardboard boxes. The employees who'd been overlooked and mistreated under the old regime? They're finally getting the recognition and opportunities they deserved. Margaret reinstates the accounting manager who'd been fired for reporting harassment. The development team that Richard had ignored becomes the leaders of the company's new AI initiative. The entire corporate culture transforms from privilege-based to merit-based, practically overnight. And that nameplate on Margaret's old desk, executive assistant, gets replaced with CEO, Phoenix Ventures, and Summit Technologies. This story isn't just about revenge, though that part is incredibly satisfying. It's about the power of patience, observation, and never underestimating someone based on their job title or appearance. Margaret could have quit, complained, or fought back in obvious ways. Instead, she played the long game. She used their dismissal of her as an advantage, building her empire in the shadows while they were too busy being impressed with themselves to notice. The real lesson here? Be careful how you treat people on your way up, because you might meet them again on your way down. And sometimes the person you're looking down on is actually looking down on you from heights you can't even imagine. So the next time you're tempted to dismiss someone because of their job title, their clothes, or where they live, remember Margaret's story. That quiet person in the corner might just be planning the most epic corporate takeover in history. And honestly, they might just deserve to win. If this story blew your mind like it did mine, smash that like button because karma, stories like this, need to be shared. Subscribe for more incredible tales of underdogs who got the last laugh, and tell me in the comments what you would have done in Margaret's shoes. Would you have played the long game, or would you have revealed your hand earlier? I'm genuinely curious to hear your thoughts on this absolute masterclass in patience and strategy.